Well, welcome. We have an esteemed panel here on the stage, and I'd be really grateful if you could introduce yourselves.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ömer Koray. I am the co-founder and manager of Alia Yachts. I'm very excited to be here with you, and I'm very happy to see that we are growing in numbers. I thank you in advance for listening to us.
Hi, this is Piraye, Şahinkaya, Orhun. I am RS Yachts Managing Director. RS Yachts is a brand of RS Shipyard who is serving for 18 years on the other side of the world, naval and commercial. Now, for 2 years, we enter yacht business.
Hello, everyone. This is Hüseyin Doğar. I am myself naval architect and marine engineer. I am working for a yacht factory, newly established shipyard in Yalova. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, as I mentioned earlier on, we are going to talk about differing business models and how you make those work rather than building on spec or custom building. So perhaps you could just give us some thoughts, first of all, on your thoughts on the advantages and disadvantages of building on spec.
Well, this is a question that we are still searching for the reply, realistic reply. Our business model is on custom-built yachts with contracts. And we haven't built so far any boat for spec. And all of the projects are different than each other. And of course, it's harder than building a production boat. I think the reason that we took that path is due to our experience in Antalya Free Trade Zone. In the beginning of our business in another company, we had 4 or 5 planning hull GRP boats, and we had lots of interest for these boats. They were really nice looking and fast yachts. And there were admirers and there were people coming and purchasing those boats. But we found out that much more than the number of those, there were people coming to our yard to fulfill their exact dreams, which we could not reply.
No, you couldn't anticipate that necessarily.
Yeah. So in our second company, in Alia Yachts, starting from 2008, we decided to work for those specific customers who wanted to have their exact dreams. When you are building a custom boat, you basically provide the owner with an empty envelope, let's say, and they put their demands, their dreams, their passions, and we build something that's completely up to their preferences. And we think that such a superyacht is something very personal. Personal at the level of not only the owner, but the children, the wife, the grandchildren, and so far maybe we haven't sold a huge amount of boats, but the projects that we managed to complete fit the exact requirements and passion of their owners. And although the number is less, we don't have difficulty to find customers in that area.
Yeah, because custom and order books, it's very different to how our next 2 panelists work with their business model. I'd be interested to see the differences between the two and how it works best for you at Aries.
The advantages of a spec boat is, of course, quick delivery time. the buyers who doesn't wait a couple of years, comparing to custom build is an advantage. And in our case, the other advantage is showcasing the skills of the shipyard's expertise, because spec yachts act like a live portfolio for the clients. If you are intent to open your vision, design, and craftsmanship to the buyers, but of course there's disadvantages on the spec yachts, the stock, the cash flow management, and the risks. If the yacht doesn't sell easily or quickly, then you maybe lose value, or maybe you have some stress on your financial flow. But the very important thing on a spec build is misaligning the features of the design. You have to investigate, you have to check all the feedback from the clients and all the market research and everything. So you have to align your spec boat to all the features a couple of years ahead. I mean,
absolutely, yeah. And Omar, how do you feel about that? Because I know you're building on spec as well, aren't you?
Yes, we can identify ourselves as a spec builder since within the group of company, together with the Adel and the Noah series, we have right now 9 projects open, 6 under construction, and 3 is under the design phase. We are starting to steel cutting. I think the spec building is a next level new building business for Turkey, because in 10 years ago, while we were a developing market, yacht market, we don't used to make such a brave move, let's say. But within the time that we gained trust by the buyers, international buyers, and now I can count maybe 4 or 5 shipyards are now building spec easily. The design is very important in here. As you know, we have some limitation, rule limitation to starting from the 24-meter, 400 GT and 500 GT. So in Turkey market, you are seeing a lot of vessels under construction between the 47-meter to 52-meter maybe. So they are all limited with the 500 GT rules. Within the trusted partner, I mean the central agency or the international brokers. So within the technical advisor, you are gaining from them. So it will be not that much difficult, I think, to get to the market or end clients. The business model here that we are also following, to get ready the hull and superstructure ready and give the end client an estimated 1-year delivery time. So this is quite important that Ms. Piraye is mentioned, because the client is very demanding on the delivery time, so you need your hull and superstructure ready, and also give some flexibility on the modification, some small modification on board, and I think you will achieve success.
Yes, because it's a very different process from the custom side to the on-spec side, obviously. I mean, we talked slightly there about sort of mitigating the financial risks against the potential return. From your perspective, from a custom build side, how do you end up managing those budgets? Because that's a much longer build, a longer scale. How does that work in your model, and how do you overcome those difficulties?
Well, I mean, this is quite a difficulty, especially nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, it depends on how realistic you are preparing the budget. And of course, the specifications, the contract should nearly cover everything.
Difficult with all the economic shifting, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's a much harder study in the beginning because you have a customer who wants to have the best that day. So you have to cope with that psychology first. And most of the time, there's a predetermined GA only, which gives a vague idea about what's going to happen. But then you have to work on that, convert it to a thorough specification, and, well, prepare the contract, which is a very difficult stage as well, because we are talking basically about millions and millions of euros. And then meantime, I mean, the biggest risk we take, we start the engineering process. We work with very well-known designers and engineering companies. And before we sign the contract, actually, the things are on the way. Otherwise, you cannot catch up with the delivery date, which you cannot catch up.
No, absolutely.
Eventually, because on the way, the custom yacht owner comes to the yard a few times, and then he changed the layout. He changed the equipment. He changed the color of the boat. And we do not have any right to say no to these demands. We have to fulfill whatever he wants to have, because he's our customers and he's paying hell of a money for that project. The only thing that bothers us is, I mean, they won't accept all the time the modifications they ask would add to the delivery time of the boat. Yeah. That's the major difficulty. Otherwise, we are happy with what we are doing. It's a big challenge, and we face lots of difficulties. I hope there is nobody from class and flag here. They give us.
There's an ex-class here.
They give us such headaches, you know. If we don't have class and flag, we could have even fly these boats, you know. Unfortunately, we have to work with them. Anyway, of course, there are sometimes delays and expectations that are not realized 100%. But in the end, the prospect owner has something that he has dreamed of, which reflects completely his requirements, his wishes, a signature of his success as well. And I mean, within the years we have reached our level. I mean, we are happy with this endless challenge.
And challenging it is, by the sound. I mean, it's also been quite a difficult time with the volatility financially. I'm interested to know if you guys have any strategies that you might have brought in that you could share, that you've helped to kind of take you through this time.
Well, I mean, the very basic things is arithmetics. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to sit down and work very well and negotiate everything with your team, which includes the providers, service and equipment and material providers. And you have to sit within the budget that you have allocated. Of course, we have some cushions there. Nowadays, the cushions are getting thinner and thinner, but there is still something that we can survive.
Yeah, it's been difficult, I know, for a lot of builders, especially at post-pandemic. The price structure, wait times, everything went up crazy. There must have been some lessons, like you mentioned, that you've learned, that you know, new strategies that you can bring in to kind of future-proof the pricing, because you're quoting at one price and then, you know, deliveries years and years later, and I know that there's been a lot of change. So how about for you guys? I mean, how does it work when you're building on spec, just to try and future-proof?
When we have to first realize that after COVID, post-COVID, we have to strengthen our local supply chains, a little independent from the global networks, because it loses times even with spec yachts, and the major dominant players of this yachting world has dominant power for the supply chains. So as RS, we are trying to strengthen the supply local chains, and we are pushing the commercial suppliers to enter yacht business. The second is we need to reduce our risk by using multi-purpose, or I mean the flexibility GAs. For example, in Atlas, we have in the same yacht 7 GAs, I think, thanks to HotLab, because we have to predict what is coming, what the customer wants. And finally, for the financial risks, as everyone is aware of that our inflations and our economic shifts, we are trying to offer some different payment methods. We were trying to find some finance stress decrease solutions as a shipyard, and we are trying to keep our labor and all human capital a little more happier. We do everything we can, but I'm not sure they're happy or not.
Well, you can only work towards that, can't you? And in terms of you guys, Ömer, at Yacht Factory, how's that?
Yeah, of course, there are some risk involved. Of course, because you are spending money on some speculation. So you need to be some patient about this. You need to trust your design. Design is very important in terms, so that's why we created some 38 and 48 and 68 meters of selections to our customer. It is again some rule defined below the 400 GT and below the 500 GT models that we are creating. Within this geography, so we have some other risks as well, not only the financial risk or the after pandemic inflation, we have some other geographical risks. That's why the financial background of the investment is very important here, as I mentioned. So while you are building this vessel, the business model should be again to sell the vessel before completing the hull, for sure. That's why you need to be some trusted party, globally active, in my opinion, for your support.
Fantastic. That's some great insight there. I mean, is there anything else that you'd like to add in terms of the custom business here in Turkey? I mean, the amount of the boats that you produce every year, I mean, are you trying to increase that? It's much more difficult for you. These guys can ramp up production in a way that perhaps you can't because you're doing it in a custom way. Is there anything you'd just like to add about custom building here in Turkey?
I mean, we had the advantage of producing nowadays high-quality boats with a reasonable price level, which we are trying to maintain. I mean, we shall keep to be there where we stand, except our ultimate goal is not to increase the number of boats that we build, but we want to get our quality as high as possible. That is our main target. It's not only the quality that you will see on the boat, but it's also the quality, how you manage the work, how you manage the whole business, how you manage production. Because those things are eventually will be seen on the end product as well. I mean, we will try to keep our competitive price level despite the issues we are fighting nowadays. But whatever we do, our priority will always be the quality, because that is something that we owe to the owner who is spending such treasure to have his dream realized.
Absolutely, treasure it is. Let me just ask our audience, have we got any questions for our panel about spec building or custom building in Turkey? No? Very quiet after lunch, aren't they? Well, thank you for joining us, guys. We're going to move on to the next now, but it's been great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks.